Welcome to The Explainer. So today, we're diving right into the incredibly dense, chaotic, and pretty bloody world of the Wuxia underworld to untangle the thrilling plot of Episode 3 of Whispers of Fate. To really get a grip on this, we've got to focus squarely on our main guy, Tang Lici. I mean, we're talking about a guy with a freezing cold heart, an undeniable 200 IQ, and a toxic but absolutely captivating presence. He walks around looking like this flawless, elegant angel in luxury silk robes, but trust me, he treats allies and enemies alike as little pawns in his own giant chess game.
Right off the bat, let's tackle the biggest mystery here. Why on earth would a literal 200 IQ mastermind like Tang Lici willingly confess to a murder he absolutely didn't commit? He just openly takes the fall for the death of young Jiang Cheng, who, by the way, actually died because of the super sinister Scarlet Ghost 9 Hearts pill, and Tang just surrenders to the Yanmen sect without throwing a single punch. On the surface, it makes zero sense. But as we're going to see, Tang Lici is playing 4D chess, and taking the blame is literally just his opening move.
But really quick, just to make sure we're all on the same page, we have to talk about the Jianghu. It translates to rivers and lakes, sure, but it represents the brutal, alternate martial arts underworld where regular societal laws just flat out don't exist. Instead, everything is dictated by honor, blood, and deadly secrets. Out here, a sex reputation is worth infinitely more than a single human life. Keeping that brutal reality in mind is absolutely crucial, because it totally explains the insanely high stakes of this murder mystery and the completely bizarre rules these factions live by.
Okay, moving into Section 1, a mastermind's false confession. Let's look at the immediate, heavy aftermath of Jiang Cheng's death.
There is this incredibly poignant moment right after the death, where the mysterious girl, Ashe, drops his heartbreaking insight on Sect Master Zhang, who is obviously just drowning in grief over his son. She tells the story from her past about watching 2 wild geese freezing in the mudflats. When the older goose died, the younger one just circled it until it eventually froze to death too. It's such a devastating metaphor for Jiang Cheng. He was so terrified of the toxic pill in his system ruining his father's reputation and the Yanmen sect's honor that he just chose to take his own life. Ashe really forces the grieving father to see the staggering human toll of his son's absolute devotion.
Now, to fully appreciate this twisted game, we kind of need to roast our main players for a second so we know exactly who we're dealing with. First up, Tang Lici, the 200 IQ mastermind, completely flawless silk robes, freezing cold heart. Then there's Qi Yun, Tang's personal squire and bodyguard. He's high energy, fiercely loyal, and honestly, he's basically the angry puppy of the group who will bite anyone that looks at his master funny. And finally, Lu Yan, Tang's former martial arts brother turned bitter, tragic rival. He plays the pipa like an absolute rock star, all while secretly pulling the strings on these massive, bloody shadow conspiracies.
Which brings us to Section 2, Toxic Chess Game Manipulations. We're about to watch Tang Lici effortlessly and ruthlessly play everyone around him without breaking a sweat.
You have to love the stark contrast happening here. On one hand, you have Feng Xuanzang showing up to the Yanmen sect like a total savior. He's publicly defending Tang Lici, vouching for his innocence, and he somehow convinces the grieving father to give them 7 days to find the real killer. But inside Tang Lici's private reality, his brilliant brain immediately spots the trap. He knows Feng's skills are totally average and they don't have any real connection. So Tang realizes, with his icy precision, that Feng's perfectly timed superhero entrance is actually a setup orchestrated by his rival, Lu Yan. So what does Tang Lici do with that information? He delivers the coldest reality check imaginable. He literally says, "I have no friends, so how can one speak of caring for friends?" They're on a boat, supposedly working as a team, and Tang just suddenly turns on Feng and kicks him straight into the river. It is such a savage move. He shatters the alliance right on the spot. Why? Because he flat-out refuses to play by the narrative script his enemies wrote for him. If Lu Yan wants some teaming up, Tang is going to do the exact opposite.
And this perfectly transitions into what I like to call the angry puppy protocol. Right after kicking Feng into the river, Tanky casually drops a bomb on his bodyguard Qi Yun, telling him that Feng was actually the guy who gave Jiang Cheng the toxic pill in the first place. Well, Qi Yun absolutely hates betrayal, so he's instantly furious. He storms off to track down the completely drenched Feng. The genius part here is that Qi Yun has no idea he's being played. Tang deliberately provoked him so he'd act as a highly motivated tracking device to gather intel, all fueled by his own authentic, blinding rage.
Which drags us directly into Section 3, the 13th floor black market. The clues force our anti-hero down into the darkest intelligence hub in the entire martial arts world. The world building in this part is just phenomenal. If you want top-tier assassins or intelligence, you go to the Buhuan Tower. But get a load of these VIP entry requirements. Step 1, you have to wait for the exact night of the 15th of the month. Step 2, you watch this massive, mysterious tower physically rise out of the river. And Step 3, which is so wonderfully macabre, you have to literally climb into a coffin and float your way inside the black market. It's bizarre, it's unsettling, and it is just textbook Jianghu.
While we're exploring this black market, we actually uncover a deeply hilarious and ironic backstory. We finally learn why the fierce Qi Yun is essentially Tang Lici's indentured servant. Years ago, Qi Yun bankrupted himself at this exact black market, desperately looking for his missing fiancée, Bai Suqi, the unparalleled beauty of Jiangnan. It was a massive tourist trap, and he was nearly forced into servitude to pay his debts. Tang Lici literally just happened to be passing by, bought the indenture contract, and bailed him out. So yeah, our angry puppy owes his life to the toxic mastermind.
All right, moving into Section 4, Puppet Masters and Deadly Poison. This is where all those twisted little threads finally pull together in the dark. So we have to untangle this totally convoluted poisoning timeline for the Scarlet Ghost 9 Hearts pill. Tang deduces that over a year ago, Zhongcheng was unknowingly poisoned. 6 months later, his best friend Feng Transheng found out. And to keep him alive, Feng secretly started feeding him these sinister-looking pills to suppress the toxin. Cut to the present day. Zhongcheng finally catches Feng slipping him a pill. It creates this devastating, unspoken misunderstanding. Zhongcheng died completely believing his best friend poisoned him, while Feng was literally just trying to save his life. It just proves that silence and secrets can destroy lives way faster than any actual poison ever could.
And speaking of dark secrets, we absolutely have to expose Uncle Shang, or Shang Qinyue. His public face is the grieving uncle demanding justice for his nephew, but the hidden reality? Totally sinister. He's been plotting this whole time to usurp the Yanmen sect master title from his older brother. He traded years of his own life at the black market just to get a shot at assassinating Tang Lici. The whole plan was to enrage the Central Plains Sword Society with Tang's death and basically just seize power in the resulting chaos.
Then we hit the climax. Tang Lici leaps into a chasm and comes face to face with a chilling illusion of his rival, Liu Yan. And we get a look at the ultimate weapon, Liu Yan's goo worms. These weird parasites are the literal, physical manifestation of his shadow conspiracies, completely pulling the strings of the martial arts factions. Tang realizes the entire tragedy, the pill, the false accusations, everything, was a meticulously crafted trap. Liu Yan designed it specifically to make friends slaughter each other over the power of that pill, just to torture Tang Lici. It's a dark reminder of how conspiracies prey perfectly on human weaknesses like grief and ambition. Which leaves us with this final, really provocative thought to wrap up the explainer. Tang Lici knew from the very beginning that he was walking into Liu Yan's trap. So, if a 200 IQ mastermind willingly steps right into a deadly snare, is he really just a pawn in someone else's game? Or is he positioning himself to flip the entire board? That dynamic right there is what makes Tang Lici so incredibly compelling, and it's absolutely the biggest takeaway here. He might be toxic, but his sheer brilliance keeps us completely hooked, just waiting to see his next ruthless move.